J.S. Clark is named in honor and recognition of Joseph Samuel Clark. Joseph Samuel Clark was one of the first president of what is now today Southern University. At the time that Dr. Clark became president of Southern was located in New Orleans. It was under Dr. Clark's leadership that Southern University was granted land grant institution status, which greatly improved its access to funding. It opened up the door for Southern to relocate from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, more specifically the community of Scotlandville, on 500 acres. Under Dr. Clark's leadership, that 500 acres grew to 884, and so the present Southern University that you see today, sitting on the bluff overlooking the Mississippi River, was made possible due to the outstanding leadership of the person for whom J.S. Clark now Elementary School was named. His son, Felton G. Clark, went on to become a president of Southern University as well, and between the two of them, they helped to catapult Southern University into the largest black college in the entire United States and the only black university system in the world, all thanks to J.S. Joseph Samuel Clark. C.C. Antoine, or Caesar Carpentier Antoine, is one of the most prolific Louisianians in the history of the state. C.C. Antoine was born in the city of New Orleans. His father fought in the War of 1812. It is reported that his mother was the daughter of an African chieftain. He was born a free man of color in the city of New Orleans. In the lead up to the Civil War, C.C. Antoine enlisted in the Union, in service of the Union, was one of the founders of what was known as the Corps d'Afrique, which is basically the French for Corps of the Africans. He went on to become a captain in the Union Army, served with honor and distinction until the end of the war, at which point he made the decision to move from New Orleans to Shreveport in search of opportunity and to provide leadership in the now post-slavery state of Louisiana. While here, he opened up a business, became a grocer, had already been a barber, but also got involved in politics. He eventually became the first black ever elected to the Louisiana State Senate from Northwest Louisiana. He went on to become lieutenant governor throughout the course of his public service at the state of Louisiana. As far back as 1869, he filed legislation to create the Shreveport Charity Hospital. He ultimately managed to be able to not only pass, but to fund that legislation in 1876, and is essentially one of the fathers of what is today the LSU Oxnard Academic Medical Center, one of the second highest employer in Northwest Louisiana, only second to Barksdale, and also an institution that has probably an impact on our regional economy that is only second to Barksdale as well. C.C. Antoine is a man who is a giant in the history of Shreveport, Louisiana. He also is the individual who helped to facilitate the funding and construction of the first of the 4 city halls in the history of the city of Shreveport. He built that first city hall in downtown Shreveport on the northwest corner of Louisiana and Milam. It functioned as our city hall in Shreveport from 1873 until 1906 when it burned down. You can find pictures and images of the second, third, fourth, which is the current city hall, all over the internet. Some of even are postcards. What you have a great deal of difficulty managing to identify and locate is an image of the work that was accomplished by C.C. Antoine in the midst of very challenging circumstances, while his leadership was enjoyed and impacted many. Unfortunately, it was not recognized and respected in the way that it should. So CC Antoine, again, a giant amongst Louisianians and one of the most preeminent Shreveporters to ever to live and to serve. Adjacent to the Little Union Baptist Church, the corner of Milam and Norma Street, sits the location of the first black pharmacy in the city of Shreveport that was owned and operated by Solomon Powell. Solomon Powell was a black man who partnered with the Sanger brothers, who had pharmaceutical operations in downtown Shreveport, and gained his pharmaceutical training and opened up the first black-owned pharmacy in the city of Shreveport, there on Milam Street, along a corridor that very much is a part of what would be considered elements of the Black Wall Street here in Shreveport. Solomon Powell went on to have sons and grandsons and descendants who made major contributions to Shreveport as well. One went on to become a lawyer. The other went on to become a doctor, Dr. Albert Powell. They located their offices there on Pier Avenue, made significant contributions to Shreveport, and their legacy and work is carried on by the current iteration of the Powell family, Gregory Powell, who lives here in Shreveport today and is the owner and leader of SB Bikes. So the Powell family has a very long history, very long impact, but it begins with Solomon Powell and his work in pioneering black pharmacy representation in the city of Shreveport, there on Milam Street at the corner of Milam and Norma. Descendants of Solomon Powell, Carranza Pryor, who is a lawyer here in Shreveport, legal counsel for the LSU Oxnard Academic Medical Center, LSU Medical School in particular. Yeah. Both a Yale graduate and Harvard and Yale. So you got Ivy League squared. So black excellence manifesting here in Shreveport over Sam Cook, he performed there, exactly. After what happened to him that inspired him to write The Change Is Gonna Come. That's where he performed. Also, who knows who Jimi Hendrix is? Yeah. Jimi
Mrs. Carolyn Jones was invited to ride with us today. She had another event come up, but she did say tell you hello.
Please tell her I said hello. Wonderful woman, wonderful lady. Her daughter, Chloe, was one of my executive assistants of my first term as mayor. So great family, great people. The Martin Beauty Show.
Welcome to the Bridges of Hope mural completed April 9th, 2024. This mural was sponsored by our very own mother member, Cynthia Montgomery, and Mother Frazier. The owner of the Uptown Lounge, Mr. Ryan Williams, wasn't able to attend today, but he was very gracious to allow his building to be the canvas for this mural. Inspiration for this mural came about from Jill Bailey, who wants to have a few words to say.
In the year of 1960, Ruby Bridges was 6 years old and was the first African American to go to an all-white school. After that, Ruby was escorted by federal marshals every day because some people did not want her to go to an all-white school. She was very strong and brave, and she showed everyone that they should be treated equally no matter what they look like. Her courage helped change the rules so that all kids, no matter their skin color, could go to the same school together. Today, she is remembered as a hero to help make things fair for everyone. I drew this painting in inspiration of Ruby Bridges.
Thank you, Jill Bailey. Now let me introduce to you the artist, Mr. Eric, but let me first have the honor to share his impeccable bio. Eric Francis is a contemporary realist painter, muralist, teacher, and museum coordinator based in Shreveport, Louisiana, but was born in Brooklyn, New York. To Haitian parents, he grew up with 6 other siblings and eventually made his way south, earning an associate's degree in general studies from Southern University in Shreveport and a bachelor's of arts in studio paintings from Centenary College of Louisiana. Known for his detailed acrylic paints, portraits, floral paintings, and still lifes, Eric captures depth and realism that draws viewers in. In addition to painting, he shares his expertise through teaching and videos that offers a behind the scenes of his creative process. He has been featured in publications like the Shreveport Times and EmptyEasel.com. And he has appeared on television to discuss his work, which he has held in private collections across the regions. As a muralist, Eric was a part of the artist team that brought the iconic mega mural to life in downtown Shreveport. Through exhibitions and commissions, the Art Public Project, Eric continues to make vibrant impacts on the local art community. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Eric Francis.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm glad everybody made it out on this cold day to, celebrate Black history and to see the mural. I have a heart for public art. I love public art. I love murals. I grew up in New York, and New York, you just see like a lot of graffiti, and a lot of people saw a mess, but I saw beautiful, beautiful artwork everywhere I went. And when I grew up, I had the opportunity to do things like this. So I've worked on a lot of mural projects in the community. I worked on the underpass that we just passed over here. I also worked on, I think it's the Cohab building, it's absolute equality mural. I helped artist Cadavian Baylor make that mural. Also worked on a really big one over at Galilee Church. I don't know if you've seen it, it's really big. It's a Black History mural. And this mural, I was so happy to do. When Cynthia contacted me about doing the mural, we had another location in mind. That kind of fell through, and then, you know, it was years had passed, and I thought the project was dead, but she called me up and said, Ryan, I forgot, what was his last name? Williams. Ryan Williams, yes, Ryan Williams. He was so gracious to dedicate his building to let us do this. And the reason why I wanted to do this, and my inspiration was Ruby Bridges, of course. And Ruby Bridges and all that she did for us, you know. And it's more than just about Ruby Bridges, it's about a community effort. Everybody had to come together to do this thing for civil rights. We were all together trying to accomplish a great thing. Ruby Bridges was a little more than like 6 years old when she integrated, I forget the name of the school, elementary school. You could imagine sending your 6-year-old in harm's way, you know, after being oppressed and brutalized for so long. You had to trust that these people were going to take care of your child. So we have Ruby Bridges, but we also have these protesters at the bottom. That represents the community, that represents the struggle, that represents us. We also have these gigantic crows behind them. Now the gigantic crows, they symbolize Jim Crow, because it was always looming over us. It was always to let you know you can only go so far, you can only do so much. And this side of the painting is in black and white. That's to symbolize the times. It was like there was no color to life. We weren't allowed to be what we wanted to be and to do what we wanted to do. And ultimately, that's what we were fighting for. We were fighting for the right to be who we wanted to be, to go where we wanted to go, to live where we wanted to live, and to be whoever we wanted to be. Now, right directly in the center, you have a scale. This represents the scales of justice. Now, the scales of justice are being balanced, and that takes us over into the time that we are now. Now, the hands of protest turns into hands of praise. We're so grateful for all the things that we fought for. And all the color that was gone from the world, the color is now here. We have purples and reds and pinks and greens and blues and yellows. Very vibrant, very bright colors that we're allowed to have in our life. And when we had crows over here, we now have a butterfly. Now, butterflies represents transition, change, transformation. And then we have Ruby Bridges, all grown up, you know. She retained a smile. Through it all, she smiled. And she's able to do all the things that she wanted to do. This mural also represents, they didn't give us rights. We fought for rights. We earned them. And this represents a reminder. We can always go back to him. We have to remain vigilant. And we're looking around at the world and we're watching news and we see that our rights are being eroded, you know? So we have to remain vigilant. We have to keep being involved. And I wanted this to kind of be a marker for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have also gotten in contact with Ruby Bridges' publicist. So the photo ops that we'll be taking afterwards will be shared with her publicist to hopefully be shared on her social media platforms. But now we would like to take a picture with Cedric Glover, the teens, everybody, and the artists. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.